The 6 o'clock report.
Good evening. This is Rose Ann Silvernail with the 6 o'clock report from WBTV Baltimore. Our top story tonight. Alan Wolfe, the great plane robber, has been caught in Costa Rica. He was arrested in a San Jose nightclub. He is being questioned at local police headquarters, and he will probably be sent back here to Baltimore. In 1992, Wolfe was sentenced to 40 years in prison for his part in the great plane robbery at Baltimore-Washington International Airport. He escaped from the Maryland State Penitentiary in April. Since then, he has been seen in 10 different countries. Another tragedy in the music world. Jerry Henderson, the lead guitarist of the rock group The Rats, is dead. He was found unconscious in his room at the Baltimore Glory Inn early this morning. Henderson was rushed to the Johns Hopkins University Hospital, but doctors were unable to save his life. A number of bottles which had been found in his room were taken away by the police. The painting Iris Morning by Penoir was stolen last night from the Baltimore Museum of Art. The painting, which is worth over $5 million, had been given to the museum in 1993. It hasn't been found yet, and all area airports, highways, and train stations are being watched. All vans and trucks are being searched. A reward of $50,000 has been offered for information. And finally, Jumbo, the elephant that escaped from the Baltimore Zoo this afternoon, has been caught. Jumbo was chased across Druid Hills Park and was finally captured at a hot dog stand near the park's main gate. Jumbo had not been fed and was trying to take bread rolls from the stand. A tranquilizer gun was used, and Jumbo was loaded onto a truck and was taken back to the zoo. At the zoo, he was examined by the zoo veterinarian. Fortunately, no damage had been done, and Jumbo will be returned to the Elephant House tomorrow.
The Sunday Magazine.
Last night I went to see the new musical at the Lewis and Clark Memorial Theater. It's called Space Opera and was written by Tim Weber with music by Andrew Rice. It was a highly entertaining evening and the audience enjoyed every minute of it. The music was performed by the Idaho Symphony Orchestra, and it is really great. The hero is played by soap opera star Danny Clean, and he sings most of the best songs. However, the most popular song in the show is Starlight Tonight, and I'm sure it'll be a big hit. It's sung by Lorna Winter, who plays the Queen of Jupiter. Her costumes are sensational. They were designed by Annette Field. One dress cost more than $20,000. There is a CD of the show available on the Polyglot label, and an illustrated book which is published by Apple Tree Books. Take my advice. Go see it.
Elvis Presley, Story of a Superstar.
When Elvis Presley died on August 16, 1977, radio and television programs all over the world were interrupted to give the news of his death. President Carter said, "Elvis Presley changed the face of American popular culture. He was unique and irreplaceable." 80,000 people attended his funeral, and Elvis Presley movies were shown on television, and his records were played on the radio all day. In the year after his death, 100 million Presley albums were sold. Elvis Presley was born on January 8, 1935, in Tupelo, Mississippi. His twin brother died at birth. His parents were very poor, and Elvis never had music lessons, but Elvis regularly sang at church services. In 1948, when he was 13, his family moved to Memphis, Tennessee. Elvis left school in 1953 and got a job as a truck driver. In the summer of 1953, Elvis paid $4 and recorded 2 songs for his mother's birthday at Sun Records studio. Sam Phillips, the owner, heard Elvis and asked him to record That's All Right in July 1954. 20,000 copies were sold, mainly in and around Memphis. Elvis made 5 more records for Sun, and in July 1955 he met Colonel Tom Parker, who became his manager. Parker sold Elvis's contract to RCA Records. Elvis immediately bought a pink Cadillac for his mother. In January 1956, Elvis recorded Heartbreak Hotel, and 1 million copies were sold. In the next 14 months, he made another 14 records, and they were all big hits. In 1956, he also made his first movie in Hollywood, Love Me Tender. In March 1958, Elvis had to join the army. When his hair was cut, thousands of women cried. He spent the next 2 years in Germany, where he met Priscilla Ballou, who became his wife 8 years later in 1967. In 1960, he left the army and went to Hollywood, where he made several movies during the next few years. Most critics thought the movies were a waste of his talent. By 1968, many people had become tired of Elvis. He hadn't performed live since 1960. But then he recorded a new album, From Elvis in Memphis, and appeared in a TV special. He became popular again and went to Las Vegas, where he was paid $750,000 for 4 weeks. In 1972, Priscilla left him, and they were divorced in October 1973. The next few years were spent doing concert tours. Elvis died at home of a heart attack. He had been eating and drinking too much for several years. He left all his money to his only daughter, Lisa Marie Presley. Since his death, Elvis has sold more records than during his lifetime. He has become a legendary figure, and every year there are rumors that he is still alive. In 1993, Elvis was the first rock musician to be featured on a U.S. postage stamp. People were asked to vote. Did they want a picture of the young 1956 Elvis or of the Elvis of the Las Vegas shows? You can see
Classifieds. Andy.
I have $6,000. I'm going to look at the car. If I like it, I'll buy it.
Barbara.
That's a nice car, but I don't have enough money. If I had enough money, I'd buy it.
Chris.
I've worked for an oil company for 10 years. I have a BS in engineering. I have the qualifications. I'm going to apply for the job. If they offer me the job, I'll definitely take it.
Dave.
I like that job, but I can't apply for it. I don't have the qualifications. If I had the qualifications, I'd apply for it.
Floyd.
I'm a mechanic, and I know a lot about cars. I have a current driver's license and enough money. If they ask me, I'll go with them.
Tom.
I have $4,000 and a current driver's license, but I know very little about cars. If I knew something about cars, I'd go with them.
Jessica.
I am a native speaker of English. I can read and write Spanish. I'll apply for the job. If I get it, I'll have to move to New Jersey.
Helen.
I am a native speaker of English, but I can't read or write Spanish. If I could read and write Spanish, I would apply for the job.
Darlene.
I'm 19 and I'm interested in the job. I'll get more information if I call. If the salary's good, I'll apply.
Jack.
I'm interested in the job, but I'm too young. I'm only 17. If I were older, I'd apply.
Eating out.
Are you hungry?
Yeah, I didn't have much for breakfast.
Do you feel like a hamburger?
Okay, I'll have a big Greg, but no fries for me.
Anything to drink?
You've been here before. What are the shakes like?
Not bad. I'm getting one.
Okay, I'll have a strawberry shake.
Anything else?
No, that's all.
Next.
1 big Greg, 1 cheese Greg, 1 order of fries.
Large or regular?
Large. And 2 strawberry shakes.
Is that it?
Uh-huh. That's all.
What are you having?
I don't know. I can't decide.
I'd have the special if I were you. I had it last time I was here. It was great.
No, it's got ham on it. I don't like ham. I'll just have the plain pizza.
A regular or a large?
A large, I think.
Are you very hungry?
No, not very.
Then I wouldn't have a large one if I were you. They're enormous.
What about an appetizer?
Okay, let's have another look at the menu.
Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm your waiter today. Are you ready to order yet?
Yes, please. We'd like a plain pizza and a Pizza Palace special.
Would you like regular or large pizzas?
Both regular, please.
Anything to start?
Yes, a soup and a house salad, please.
Sure. It'll take just a couple of minutes.
What time is it, Roy?
20 after 1.
We don't have much time. Where do you want to eat? Pizza Palace? McGregor's?
A pizza would be okay if we had more time, but we don't. And I don't really feel like a burger.
Why don't we just grab a sandwich?
Okay, there's a deli just around the corner.
Fine, let's try it.
Hello there, hon. What can I get for you?
1 tuna sandwich and 1 vegetarian, please.
Will that be white, whole wheat, rye bread, or a roll?
Whole wheat.
Will there be any drinks with that, hon?
1 coffee, 1 hot tea.
Is that everything?
Yeah, that's...
Offshore oil.
On tonight's edition of Mississippi Magazine, we'll look at offshore oil in the Gulf of Mexico. Oil was first discovered in the Gulf of Mexico in the 1930s. Since then, more oil has been found off the coasts of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. More money is being brought into the state of Mississippi from offshore drilling leases. We aren't going to become very rich, but we must decide how to spend the revenue from oil. We took our TV cameras into the streets to ask people their opinion. Our question was, if you were the governor of Mississippi, what would you do with the money?
Well, of course I'm not the governor, but if I were, I'd spend the money on more hospitals and schools. We need more doctors, nurses, and teachers. We don't have enough good teachers. If salaries were higher, we could keep better teachers. And there aren't enough doctors and nurses either because the medical schools are too small. If they were bigger, we would have more doctors and nurses. Money that is spent now on education and health is an investment for the future.
I think the answer is simple. Taxes are too high in this country. I would reduce state taxes. If we reduced taxes, people would have more money. If they had more money, they'd spend more. Industry would have to produce more, so it would need more workers. There would be more jobs, and we would all be richer.
I'm very worried about the economy. There aren't enough jobs for everyone, and people with jobs aren't making enough money. If I were governor, I'd help low-income families pay their heating and electric bills. I'd encourage farmers to produce more food more cheaply. I'd bring more industry into the state. If we did that, everybody would benefit, wouldn't they? There's one thing that makes me happy. I'm glad the money stays in Mississippi. The federal government would spend it on more tanks and bombs.
There's too much crime and violence nowadays. There aren't enough police officers on the streets. I'd give cities money to increase the size of their police forces, and I'd raise their salaries. If we had more police officers, we'd all feel safer. And I'd increase the benefits for senior citizens. I've worked hard all my life, and I should have a reasonable standard